What's up guys, Card Boss here. We talk about cards, money, investing. MBA video today, Buying the Talk episode number 25, where I answer a question from a subscriber. And this question is rather simple. When is the right time to sell my long-term investments? Alright, that's simple. Sell them right now. The end. Thanks for watching. Alright, just kidding. Of course, there's more. If you guys have an investment question to ask, be it sports, Marvel, or TC3, drop me a DM on Instagram, subscribe to my channel, and all that YouTube stuff. Alright, let's go. So first, what is a long-term investment? You hear people say, oh, I'm buying this to hold long-term. I'm stashing this away for 20 years. Well, broadly, these are the definitions of long-term. But in the sports card investing world, short-term is somewhere anything under 2 years, medium is 2 to 5, and long-term is anything beyond 5. So the idea of keeping something for 10, 20, 30 years qualifies as long-term, obviously. And in theory, something is held longer should be better. Well, actually, that point can be debatable, right? But we can agree on something that if it's stored away for 30 years might feel older and classic or maybe even vintage. But something kept for 30 years might not yield a maximum financial return as opposed to the same card that's kept for maybe 5 years or 10 years. Alright, so let's take this Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer rookie card in a PSA slab as an example for today. For years, this card was hovering around a few $1,000s, maybe one, then two. And after 33 years, I purchased this card for $2,500 in 2019. Now, depending on when the original buyer got this card, let's just say 20 years back, and it got slapped somehow along the way, making 10x, right? So I'm just using this as illustration, guys, not actual value on this Jordan back in 1999. So this seller probably figured out that 20 years is a long time and decides to cash in on his investment and sells it for whatever price after 20 years. Doesn't matter because he's already way in the money, right? Bankroll the profits, the end. Well, guys, that's a horrible way of determining when to sell your long-term investments. Firstly, I'm actually fine if you like to categorize your investments into baskets like short, medium, or long-term. But honestly, your investment goal is to make money and doesn't matter which basket your investment actually sits in. When there is opportunity to make money and it makes sense, you should naturally go for it as opposed to waiting for the maturity date of these investments. Alright, so take back the example of this same Jordans. If say I bought this card back in 1999 for $200, and told myself I'm going to wait 30 years before selling, right? I probably would have missed the peak of this card at $15,000 and now need to settle for a price that's around, let's say $8,000, and who knows what the price is 30 years from 1999, which is in 2029. So the lesson here is that you can't really categorize your investments into time baskets if your aim is to make a profit as opportunity when the profit, arises. So, of course, if your confidence level that a card will be worth more as time goes on, then sure. But I can't think of any examples, that time would be the strongest consideration in determining when the value of the card will increase to or where the demand will sit, at that particular point in time. Demand and corresponding card values are determined by scarcity, popularity, and of course, looking at current conditions of the market, like when there was a chase for modern cards towards the second half of 2020, or the NBA Legends in early 2021 that caused this Jordan to spike up to $15,000. But if that's the case, why do people actually categorize, investments as long-term? Well, it's probably because they have a view of what that card might be worth 20 or 30 years from now. Again, taking this Jordan, right? Perhaps with a long-term view, when I first purchased this card back in 2019 for $2,500, I was under the impression that if I held this card for at least 5 years, it would be worth around $7,500, which is 3x of what I paid. And if I were to imagine it going longer to 10 years, let's say, right, I'll be looking at somewhere like $15,000. Now, obviously, those timelines got fast forwarded really quickly to just 2 years instead of 10. So then comes the decision point of whether do you cash in on your supposedly long-term investment. Honestly, I had 3 of these, so that's your example, that's your answer, for my example here. But swinging back to the case study, right? Yeah, I know how you normally, would like to plan out long-term is that you will want to have a future price that you'll be willing to sell down the road, and you anticipate that's how long it will take. So my advice is not all cards are treated the same, which means not everything has an exponential peak in the future. Doesn't matter if it's 10 or 30 years. So it comes down to the actual card itself, where the quality and the potential of the card needs to be assessed, as opposed to just assuming that time is the only variable to determine growth. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Hope this answers your question. Thanks for watching, guys. Till the next one, Cardballs out.